Everyone, welcome to Digital Champions. I'm your host, Charlene Shirk, where we speak to some of the most innovative thinkers in the digital space. And joining us today from San Francisco, California, is Barak Kassar with BKW Partners. Barak, thank you so much for joining us. I know it's pretty early out there for you right now.
Hey, Charlene, so nice to meet you. Yeah, as you saw off camera, it's early. It's time for my dog's walk. So she may be asking for that walk during this interview. If you hear a bark, that's what's going on.
Pets are always welcome here on Digital Champions. So tell us what you and Mala, your dog, do over there at BKW Partners.
Yeah, she's a big help. We are a creative agency. We've been around for more than 10 years. We are two partners, my wife and myself. She's a former public radio journalist, and I'm a former tech kind of CEO, raised venture funding, so I really understand how companies like that think and work and their pressures. And we have a team of around 15 or so people, and we help tech and biotech companies tell their stories in all different ways and build their brands and reach their audiences.
You know, today it seems that, marketing is all about storytelling versus selling. So talk to us a little bit about what are some of the challenges that your clients, particularly in the space that you specialize in, are coming to you with that you need to solve for them?
Yeah, well, it is all about storytelling, but in the end, it is all about selling because, you're in the end kind of measured by various metrics, and they do tend to. There's no metric like how good was the story. In the end, the metric was, how many leads came in or how many people engaged, et cetera. But you're right, the way that works well today in such a noisy world, story tends to break through, an authentic story tends to break through. Our biggest challenge, I find, is that, and this is true across tech and biotech, you have engineers and scientists, and they often lead companies, and they think in very complex terminology. They understand things that I will never understand, and thank God, because they can create amazing stuff, amazing drugs, amazing technologies. But in order to get people to understand, you have to bring that to a level that is more of a, I call it like the highest common denominator. Like you need to, but it's a common denominator. And that is sometimes a challenge convincing the client that needs to happen. But part of our work is that condensation of a story to something that really will resonate.
And Brock, tell us, what are the key storytelling points that you look for? Is there a formula? I know everything is, you got to customize to the client, to the message, but are there key points that need to come across in every story?
Yeah, there are. And sometimes they're not about the product or the service. You want to show momentum. You want to show acceptance. A word that gets thrown around a lot is social proof. Like you want to show that others are using it. So you want to weave things like that into a story. You want to humanize the story. We joked about the dog, but we've actually made videos for like large pharma companies where we just got lucky. One of the patients we were interviewing had a dog, and it was amazing. We had him sit on his lap, and it worked. So humanization is important. And then, of course, you have to bring in the actual benefits to the end customer. But you want to weave all that together. And it's less of a formula and more alchemy, But we want to remember those. We want to try to remember to not forget those points and bring them together.
You said you've been in business for a decade. What's the biggest change that you've seen in that past decade? And then what do you foresee in the next year, 2 years, 10 years? I know that's really looking in a crystal ball, that you see impacting the industry that marketers and customers need to be aware of.
Well, the just drumbeat of technology has been the constant change, the biggest theme. And learning to adapt to that lead through it, lead with it, but at the same time, knowing the level of acceptance that our customer has, which varies. I mean, like we've seen especially on the healthcare side, like a slower rate of adoption of technologies. Partly they're highly regulated, et cetera, but also their world is in the lab, less so in the marketing lab. So we have clients with varying degrees of what you might call, I hate this word, but I've seen it thrown around a lot, like tech maturity. But then also their end customers have varying degrees. So like navigating that, helping people understand that. Like when I was first starting out, I would always like jump way ahead. Like we got to do this, we got to do this. And that wasn't always appropriate. I don't, what's coming, I think is literally just more of the same. I think we are kind of in a bit of a tech backlash, and like with privacy, et cetera, is a big thing that's changing. And I think in some ways it's very positive. And I think that we're going to see a rise in the need for greater creativity.
Okay, Barak, I'm going to have to wrap us here. That's a great place to end it, though. A rise of greater creativity. You can't land the plane any more solid than that. Barak, thank you so much for joining us this morning out on the West Coast. And tell Mala we appreciate her patience with us as we did our interview today. We really appreciate you joining us. Thank you. All right. Now, if you'd like, thank you. Bye. And if you'd like to learn more about what Barak is doing with his incredible team at BKW Partners, you can check him out on dailyadbrief.com. Well, I'm your host, Charlene Shirk. That's going to do it for this episode of Digital Champions. We look forward to learning something new with you next time.
Simplify presents Addressable CTV, combining the power of TV with the targeting and attribution of digital. Simplify's Addressable CTV delivers massive reach with the ability to scale without sacrificing precision. TV buyers can generate incremental reach with household-level targeting, frequency controls, reporting, and insights. To learn more about Simplify's Addressable CTV and what it can do for your clients, visit simply.fi.